Chapter 4. Descent Down the Chimney. My uncle was angry at the delay, but there was nothing he could do. For 3 days clouds covered the sun. At last, on June 28th, we awoke to bright sunshine. At noon, the shadow of Scartaris fell on the middle of the 3 chimneys. "Forward!" cried my uncle. "Now our journey begins." We prepared to descend the chimney. Hans put the tools and scientific instruments into a bag, then tied the bag to a rope. He threw the rope down the chimney. My uncle leaned over the chimney to watch our supplies fall. "Good," he said. "Our turn now." We tied a long rope to the edge of the chimney and descended carefully. Hans went first, then my uncle, then me. The walls of the chimney were very rough. Sharp rocks stuck out at strange angles. We used these rocks to hold on to as we descended. We did not speak to each other. The only noise was the noise of loose rocks falling down into the black depths below us. At the end of 3 hours, I still could not see the bottom of the chimney, but I saw that it was getting narrower. There was hardly any light reaching us. It was getting darker and darker. But still we went down. It was nearly midnight before we reached the bottom of the chimney. It had been a long and tiring descent, and we were all exhausted. We had something to eat. I was ready to sleep, but my uncle was still excited.
"Axel, my boy, I have been examining the rocks as we descended. They prove that I was right. The centre of the earth cannot be hot after all. All the scientists who think that the centre of the earth is hot are wrong."
I was too tired to argue. "We shall see, uncle," I said. Then I lay down and immediately fell asleep. Early next morning, a ray of sunlight woke us up. The red lava walls sparkled like jewels.
"Well, Axel," said my uncle, "have you ever spent a more peaceful night in our little house in Hamburg?"
We ate our breakfast, then set off on the next stage of our journey. We entered a small passage that led off to the right. As we left the main chimney, I looked up and saw the sky of Iceland for the last time. When Sneffels had last erupted in 1229, the lava had flowed through this passage. Now it had frozen and formed strange shapes. It was like walking through a box of jewels.
"It's magnificent!"
I cried out.
"So, are you beginning to enjoy our journey, Axel?"
my uncle asked.
"You will see even more beautiful things, my boy."
We struggled onwards. My uncle had brought a strong electric torch, and its light guided our way. When we stopped for the night, we were in a kind of cave, but there was plenty of air. In fact, I could feel a wind blowing through the cave. Where could it be coming from? I was too tired and hungry to worry about this question. In any case, there was something else that was worrying me. We had already used about half of our water. My uncle had expected to find underground springs of water, but so far we had not found any. I said this to my uncle.
"Are you surprised that there are no springs?"
he asked. "Yes, I am," I replied. "And I'm worried. We have only enough water for 5 days."
"When we get through these lava walls, there will be plenty of water,"
my uncle said. I did not agree with my uncle, but I said nothing. We set off again the next morning. At noon, we came to the end of the passage. Here it divided into 2 paths, one going east, the other west. Which path should we take? My uncle did not hesitate. He pointed to the eastern path, and Hans and I followed him into it. As I walked, I thought about the lava pouring through this narrow passage hundreds of years ago. I hoped that it would not do that again while we were in it.